Time now for some international stories. Here's Simon Pusey with Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. The diplomatic row between Britain and Iran has increased further after the Ministry of Defence accused Iran of trying to impede a British oil tanker near the Gulf before being driven off by a Royal Navy ship. The tanker British Heritage was approached by 3 boats believed to belong to Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps. An MOD spokesman described the Iranians' actions as contrary to international law. Iran has denied trying to intercept the tanker.
Obviously very concerning developments, but also I'm very proud of the Royal Navy and the role that they played in keeping British assets, British shipping safe. We are continuing to monitor the situation very, very carefully.
At least 10 people have died and more than 60 have been injured in a collision between 2 trains near Pakistan. The incident reportedly occurred when a passenger train bound for the western city of Quetta crashed into a stationary freight train at the station in Said Kabad, a city in Pakistan's Punjab province. Rescue officials said hydraulic cutters had been called to the site to retrieve dead bodies from the badly mangled train carriages and that the death toll could rise. The UN Secretary-General has called for more efforts to fight against terrorism in Africa. Antonio Guterres made the remarks at a high-level African regional counter-terrorism conference held in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. He told reporters that preventing terrorism from happening is as important as fighting it.
To prevent violent extremism in Africa and to fight effectively terrorism in Africa is not only a matter of interest for the Africans, it's a matter of global security. Terrorists today travel everywhere.
At least 4 people have died and a further 33 have been wounded when 2 car bombs exploded in Libya. The blasts happened at a funeral for a former Special Forces commander in the eastern Libyan city of Benghazi. Those killed include 2 civilians and 2 soldiers. Medical sources in Benghazi say the death toll could rise, with many of those wounded in critical condition. 6 foreign nationals, including 2 children, have died and more than 100 other people injured after gale-force winds, rain and hailstorms struck northern Greece. Trees were uprooted and buildings totally destroyed following strong winds in the Halkidiki Peninsula, a region popular with tourists in the summer. 2 elderly Czech tourists were killed when they were swept away in strong currents, while a woman and an 8-year-old boy were killed after a roof collapsed on a restaurant in Nia Plagia. France's Senate has approved a tax on big technology companies, potentially opening a new front in a trade row between Washington and the European Union. The 3% levy will apply to revenue from digital services earned in France by firms with over 25 million euros in French revenue and 750 million euros worldwide. It is due to kick in retroactively from the start of 2019. US President Donald Trump on Wednesday ordered an investigation into the tax, a step that could lead to the US imposing new tariffs or other trade restrictions.
The best way is not threat, is not opening a procedure under Section 301 for the first time in the history of the friendship between the US and France. It is to build a compromise at the G7 level, at the OECD level, so that we can have a concrete and effective solution on the taxation of digital activities.
One day after Angela Merkel's latest shaking bout, the German Chancellor used a chair to observe military honours for Denmark's new Prime Minister who was visiting. Merkel and her guest usually stand on a pedestal as the German Army Band plays the 2 national anthems before the leaders walk down the red carpet. A day earlier, Merkel was seen shaking as she met Finland's visiting Prime Minister, her 3rd shaking bout within the last month. She later told reporters she was fine. Around 7 people have been injured in a massive fire at a power station close to Moscow. Flames tore through an electricity-generating power station. Footage circulating on social media showed huge flames leaping into the sky at the facility. An eyewitness quoted by the IRA news agency said flames were 50 meters high. No one is believed to have died in the incident. And finally, dozens of colourful hot air balloons have decorated the sky above Turkey's picturesque Cappadocia region recently as a new hot air balloon festival drew in visitors from around the world. The 4-day Cappadocia International Hot Air Balloon Festival was organised by the Urgup municipality in the central Nevşehir province, with balloonists enjoying a bird's-eye view of the unique landscape. During the event, some 150 hot air balloons took to the sky for 6 different flights every day, with 20 balloons of various shapes from nearly a dozen countries, including France, Belgium, Slovakia, Germany and Brazil, all taking part. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Many thanks, Simon. I guess Nigerians already know who they are facing next, Ayo.
Yes, indeed. Algeria will face Nigeria in the semi-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations after the Desert Foxes defeated Cote d'Ivoire in their quarter-final game. But elsewhere, the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia ended Madagascar's fairy tale run with a 3-0 win to set up a semi-final clash against Senegal in the other semi-final. Africa's richest man, Mr. Aliko Dangote, has promised the Super Eagles $50,000 for every goal they score in the semi-final of the African Nations Cup. Another Nigerian billionaire, Mr. Femi Otedola, will give the team $25,000 for every goal scored. Well, the NFF president, Amaju Pinnick, mentioned this to the team in Cairo while congratulating them for their victory against South Africa. And Serena Williams is 1 win away from equaling Margaret Court's record of 24 Grand Slam titles after booking her spot in Saturday's Wimbledon final. Well, Serena, who is chasing an 8th singles title at SW19, made light work of Barbara Strykova in their semi-final clash, winning 6-1, 6-2 in just 59 minutes. And that's a wrap on Sports News. Is back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Ayo. And the main news again. President Buhari to know his fate tomorrow when the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal delivers judgment on a suit challenging his qualification for the 2019 presidential election. That's the news at 10. I'm Melinda Akinwami. Good night.